Welcome to Learning Through Math, the podcast. I'm Laura at I Teach the Why.
I'm Karina at Mrs. Cousins 5. Our mission is to inspire ourselves and others to keep learning and improving with passion.
And hugs! You can find us at learningthroughmath.com and on Twitter at Laura and Karina.
Come and join us on this journey of learning.
Thanks for joining us. We are recording this in September of 2020.
And welcome to episode 15, our journey of learning.
We want to give a special shout out to Lenny on Twitter.
From Nebraska.
We're in Nebraska now.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Thanks, Lenny, for listening to us and for bringing us into Nebraska.
And for recommending us to others.
That's right, because some other people in Nebraska have also listened to us.
So cool.
Let's reflect back on last week's episode about the area model.
So first, let me just preface this by saying, I know I spoke a lot, Laura. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Listen.
You have a special bond.
The area model means a lot to me.
Why?
It's very important. I think it's because it's just such a great visual representation of multiplication, and it's something that I never got to do as a kid.
Right?
So
none
now,
of us did.
Right,
really,
now,
none of us.
Now that I get to do it all the time, I'm constantly using it.
And you know what we neglected to talk about?
Yeah, shame on us.
Well, hey, we make mistakes too.
Yep.
But we also really in our classrooms we do talk about partial products.
Yes.
As we talk about area model and distributive property.
Yes.
Because that's also could be a first step towards the standard algorithm when you're just getting into the abstract part.
Absolutely.
We have some good news. What was your good news? You talked last week about the one good deed.
Yes.
What happened?
On Monday, we talked together as a class. We shared what our one good deeds are, and nothing really stood out. The kids, but they did come back and they had, I helped my brother with this, or I helped my dad because he wasn't feeling well, and I took care of him. So it was just nice. It was just nice to hear the kids saying something that they did, that they tried to do, and spread that good deed. So that's definitely something that I think we're going to do again in our class because it was nice. It was just nice. It's good feelings, right?
Listen, you don't know I was going to say this, but you shared an email with me that you got from a student.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to cry.
I cried when I read it.
This is a new student to you.
Yep.
You've had her for 3 weeks now.
3 weeks, yep. And she
went on and on and on and on and on about how cool, amazing, best teacher you are. And if you ever need another email, she'll send you another one. I loved it.
I know.
Oh
I know. She's so amazing.
Sometimes we need that.
Listen,
especially now.
Yes, especially now. When you're second guessing yourself and thinking that you're not reaching them.
Yep. Through a computer screen.
You really are. Yeah. So I definitely needed that email. That was it did make me cry when I read it. It was the sweetest thing. It truly was.
Oh my gosh. Our other good news is we are now on 5 continents.
It's crazy.
I just don't even know what to say. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to us.
And for the feedback, because if we didn't get any feedback, we wouldn't know who we were reaching.
Yes. And so please keep reaching out and keep tweeting at us and just keep doing those things because you have no idea. It makes our day. we text each other with screenshots. Look at
Look who's following us now.
We got very excited.
We're fangirling over people that are following us. All right, let's talk about this week's topic.
So this all started with
last week.
Yeah,
in a classroom.
In a number talk. Yeah, in a number talk in my class, and I don't even remember what the question was, but we were talking about.
You said it was something about rounding.
It was
and
rounding.
There were decimal numbers, so it was like 3 2/10.
No.
Okay, you got it. Here, see, it just takes us a minute.
We were doing a number sense routine in my class. We were counting around the circle.
Okay.
And we were looking at, I asked them, what do you notice? What do you wonder? Or what do you notice? What patterns do you see here? And one of the patterns was we were doing decimals. We were counting by tenths. This was right before rounding.
Okay.
I wanted them to know what a tenth was. Like when you say round to the nearest tenth, a lot of kids have no idea what 2/10 are. What is even a number that's a tenth?
Exactly.
I asked the question, what patterns do you see? And somebody said even numbers. So that when we were looking at the numbers, at the columns of numbers.
She's closing her eyes right now and trying to visualize it. Yes.
As we're looking at the columns of the numbers, they saw 0 and 2/10, 0 and 6/10, 1 and 2/10, 1 and 6/10. So they were looking at that pattern and saying, okay, it's ending in a 2 or a 6, 2 or a 6. It keeps repeating.
Okay.
Well, one thing was looking at like evens and odds. The one column said 0 and 5/10, and then the next number below it was 1 whole, so 1 and 0/10.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, the first one is an odd number, and the second one is an even number because it ends in a 0. And then it's like, wait, hold on. 1 and 0/10 is not an even number because it's a whole. It's 1. Right.
So you and I got into this discussion after we recorded last week.
Yes, because then my question was, is 0 and 6/10 considered an even number?
Right. So that brought us down the first rabbit hole.
Right. We looked up the definition of what is an even number.
Yep.
And
guess what?
There were several and they contradict each other. So what we noticed was
we did figure out that decimal numbers are not even or odd.
Right. So we're going or this was the definition that we kind of we settled on, right?
Right.
The definition of an even number, any integer, never a fraction and therefore never a decimal. That can be divided exactly by 2. The last digit is 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. And then for the odd, it's just that it can't be divided by 2. That's the difference.
Okay.
However, what we have to change in that definition...
I was just going to say that.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Is that we, especially when we talk about divisibility rules, we can't say the last digit. We have to say the digit in the ones place is a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. And there can be no other digits after that. There can't be anything in the decimal system.
Right.
We have to add that to divisibility rules.
Right. So really that even numbers or ought to determine whether a number is even or odd, you look at the ones place. That's it.
But also that there can be nothing
else, right,
in the tenths, hundredths, thousandths, or beyond.
Because
place.
they can be negative numbers.
Right.
They can be integers.
Right.
But just not
They have to be
decimals.
whole numbers.
They have to be whole numbers.
Okay. I hope we cleared all that mud up for you.
Although this is where it gets confusing is 0. 0 is like the special case.
We looked up, I mean, how many different websites had such conflicting information about 0?
Right.
Some said 0 is even because blah, blah, blah. 0 is odd because blah, blah, blah. But then it said the previous 2 statements can be true, then 0 is both even or odd. But then the statement underneath that said, because the first 2 statements are both true, 0 could be odd.
Neither. You're so confused.
Okay, yes. Listen.
So 0 can be odd, even, neither, or both. That's
correct.
That's basically what it was. That it can be all of those things. So we have no idea. 0 is this
super special case.
Yeah.
And we went to reputable sites. It's not like we went to joeschmo.com. Enough about even and odd and 0. I can't even anymore. My head is just overwhelmed by 0. But we know, at least with divisibility rules, we have to say whole numbers.
Yes.
And in the ones place, we can't say the last digit.
Right. Because that's where that misconception
came from.
It leads into a misconception.
That's why some of your kids said 1 and 0/10
is even.
Right. Because they looked at the last digit.
Right. On the 13 rules article, now we have to add this other one with even and odd numbers, right?
I will reach out to Sarah and let her know. That's right.
The conversation that I had with my students and then that we had because of it took us down this idea of, rethinking, looking, researching, and learning. And that kind of got us thinking about doing an episode about our journey of learning.
That we are never going to stop learning. We certainly don't know everything.
Right.
There's no way we're ever going to know everything. And that we have to continually be on this path of learning with you.
Right.
As
together,
yes,
as a community
of learners. You got it.
And
which brought you down another rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Community of learners. You already know this, that I have gone to the Bitmoji side, and I listen, I don't even have to create Bitmoji classrooms because there's so many that are fabulous.
And free.
Gosh, I love free things. And in an effort to kind of reciprocate that.
As a thank you.
Right, as a thank you. And a lot of teachers have been sharing on this site called Linktree.
So you sent me this thing on Sunday, and I'm like, what's this rabbit hole now?
Yep, I've jumped into another rabbit hole. I have a Linktree account. And so if you want to visit, I'll drop it. I'll share it. It's linktr.ee/K Cousins.
And we'll put it in the show notes.
We can put it in the show notes. I have up there some things that I've created in my classroom, slides that can be used. It'll make a copy for you in your Google Drive, and you can use and edit and do whatever you want to. Listen, I'm not making them specifically for anybody. These are the things that I'm doing in my class, and I've already created them. So I might as well put them out there.
So that we all can stop reinventing the wheel.
Right
now,
right.
Especially in distance learning.
Right. To the benefit of hopefully some others out there that will enjoy it and appreciate.
By the way, my mom and I, when we were on our Sunday drive last week and listening to, our episode and other things and talking, and you sent me this Linktree thing, I said to her, oh, she's going down another rabbit hole. And my mom said to me, which I did share with you, She said, I'm going to buy her a carrot.
She realizes it won't satisfy me, right? I'll keep searching.
I'm going to tell her she's going to have to plant you a carrot patch. Is it a patch? I don't know. I don't garden. So
me neither.
A carrot field, a carrot, whatever it is.
Oh gosh. Oh my goodness.
Well, along our journey of learning this week, one thing that I have become accustomed to, which I know your husband has too, is we've become IT advisors with our teachers at our school. And I consider myself a pretty good techie, and when I don't know something, I will troubleshoot it until I can't do it anymore, and then I will ask for help from our IT person or someone in our district. We've all become IT.
Seriously, we all
advisors.
have to add that now to our resume. Yes. A line in our resume that says IT specialist or advisor or troubleshooter. IT troubleshooter. That's what we've all become.
The other thing I did this week was I jumped on a virtual PLC for coaches, and it was Thursday night. I was so tired, physically tired from doing stuff at school, and I just decided, just do it. Because you're going to get something out of it. And yes, I could have watched the recording, but how much better things are when it's live.
Absolutely.
I jump into this. We talk about Jamboard, actually.
Oh.
Which that was good, especially for people that haven't been familiar with it. It's just another platform that you can use virtually. And then we were sent to breakout rooms. There were 4 of us in my breakout room. 3 of us were coaches. One was a college professor who teaches teachers how to be coaches.
Oh, okay.
And we got to talking about 800 million things and I think they gave us 15 minutes or 10 minutes to talk. And at one point, we were all like, what are we supposed to be talking about? Because we were talking about so many other things. But I made a connection with one of the people in there, Amy, if you're listening. She's in Massachusetts. I private messaged her and said, what's your email address? It's just, you know how you just kind of connect with someone? So I sent her a message and said, I emailed you. And she said, I didn't get the email. So thankfully, she emailed me. And what did I do? I put a dot where I wasn't supposed to. So, you do learn from your mistakes. Oh my gosh. You know how we're always saying mistakes are proof that you're learning?
Yes.
I did the morning news for my school last week and a day or two the week before. Well, I have to not only record it, but share it, in the Google Classrooms. I didn't tell you this story?
I think you did. Yeah, I think you did.
Okay, well, I think it's kind of worth sharing.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm recording this with another teacher. Our principal said, there's 2 of you each day. Please do the morning news.
Yeah.
No problem. So I start recording with her, and the stuff that I was sent, I couldn't figure out how to make this video work without it. Okay, Google Slides keeps going. I can't make it stop. It auto moves when you're in present mode, and I've already sent a message to Google saying, when you're doing this, can you please take off? You know how in PowerPoint you can set it to go every 5 seconds or every 2 seconds, or there's a button that says do not auto move.
Yeah.
Okay, Google Slides doesn't have this. Anyway, I'm doing this the first 20 seconds, and thankfully the only thing I said was, well, that didn't work the way it was supposed to, or something like that. I accidentally sent that first out to everybody. And of course, this was, the next, I think we recorded this for the following Monday or something. So oh my gosh, I literally thought I was going to throw up because I forgot what I had said.
Right.
Right. Sometimes you may or may not use appropriate language towards the end when you're figuring that you, yes. So then I sent an email right away because one of the teachers emailed me and said, it was only 20 seconds. I don't think that was the one you meant to send. Well, that was my first panic because I didn't watch it right then. I went to go get the next one. Well, the next one was about 6.5 minutes long, and it was messed up at the end. My son had come down and was like, Mom. And I'm like, really? And now we have to start this whole thing over? Well, the other teacher said, don't worry, because the whole thing was echoey. Because every time that I put on a video, something was echoing. So then again, I'm panicked because I sent that one and I didn't know what I said towards the end. So I sent another message. I'm like, no, this is the wrong video. Please forgive me. And then I sent out the correct one. Now, before I sent out the correct one, I watched it all the way through to make sure it was actually the correct one. But I almost passed out,
I bet,
from anxiety.
Right.
Yes. So, hey, I learned that little lesson. So now I know, don't just hit delete in the email, hit delete of the actual recording on your Google Drive.
Oh, boy.
I hope that helps somebody else out there not go through what I went through.
Oh.
Is there anything else you wanted to share?
No, there's just so much. I mean, listen, we always learn. And I think we also should keep that same mentality, make that visible in your classroom.
Oh,
right?
They've seen it. Have they not? Have they seen you?
They definitely have. I
have to tell you were telling me some of the things that your kids were saying right before this podcast about when you have technology issues.
Yeah.
And you're making light of it.
Right.
So they make light of it too.
Right. They said, just yell at it or just hit it. I'm like, well, I don't think I should hit it. It doesn't belong to me. It's the school property.
Right. That was the document camera,
that was the
right?
document camera that wasn't working. Yeah. So I think it is important as teachers that we are real. We're real with the kids. They appreciate that and they respond to that so much more. And I'm sure that your teachers at your new school appreciate the fact that stuff happens.
Hey, even in the final third recording, I messed up on no, you know what? It was another recording I did. I messed up on our Happy Day poem. And I said to the kids, this is the first time I read it and I made a mistake, and that's okay. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
And the next day I did it. I did our morning news again. So I said the happy poem correctly. I did a much better time reading it the second time. Wink. So I think the kids probably appreciated that. One of the teachers gave me feedback and said, good job
nice.
on our morning news.
Nice.
All right. What's the challenge for this week?
The challenge is to go explore and try something new and look for things that, you might, maybe you were hesitant at first to go try it out.
And even if you make a mistake, please tell us, because we know we're not perfect in any way, form, nothing. So we want to know your mistakes.
Yes.
And
share your mistake if you're brave enough.
If you're, you know what? It is all about being vulnerable. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. And we're definitely being vulnerable, just putting ourselves out on this podcast.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us.
We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast and give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting platform. We invite you to join the conversation on Twitter by using the hashtag #LearningThroughMath.
We'd love to hear your feedback. Make sure to tag us at Laura and Karina. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
To you too.